Unknown, episode 7 tonight, which is second part of our last episode. This one is going to be called A Call from a Friend. So again, I'm Dr. Paul Evidanian and my wonderful son here, Paul Evidanian Jr. So We're going to start off where we finished, I guess. So can you do a quick recap of what you had seen? Or
So we opened the prayer, and then we were in the yard. We started out in the front, and then we found footprints, or I saw footprints in the yard everywhere. And then we tracked them down, went out back, and then I had seen that guy.
So when you were out front with the footprints, you didn't see it, because going back to the last episode, you saw somebody when we took the trash out, and in the basement, and then out when we went to get Chinese food, remember?
Yeah.
So when you saw the footprints, you didn't see a person, though. You just saw glowing.
They were tracks.
Tracks all around the front yard, you said. And then you said some were glowing, and let's go out back, right?
Yeah, some were like more vibrant, definitely. And then we went out back, and then I remember like we were looking around just because we went to the brightest footprints. And I didn't see him there right away.
Just to end, like, the
it was kind of like they were just right there. And then I think like seconds later, then he was just like out of the crowd of people, the soldiers there. Then he just kind of like came out of nowhere. And I was like, I still couldn't see his face. It was still blurry.
Yeah.
Like almost like having lenses in front of your eyes. Yeah. And then there's like a smudge on it.
Like in front of yours or his?
Yeah, mine.
But you could see all the other people
he didn't have
clearly.
Glasses on.
But the other ones were clear. Like you could see
they were
face
clear, but it was like if there was a smudge mark right where his face was.
Okay.
And I remember there was like a grayish tint outline to him, like how I described the blue for other people. His was kind of gray, I could see.
So that was new.
Yeah, definitely new. And since the prayer was open, could have been because of that, like more enhanced. But then, like, you told me to ask him who he was.
Or I think you started talking. We recorded it, I think, but you started talking. I just saw you, like, because, when Paul is in this trance-like state, he can see them, I cannot.
Yeah.
And you were just, like, nodding your head and, like, we were, excited, you and I.
Yeah, I think I did walk over.
Yeah,
I walked over to him. And I think I asked him, who are you?
Yes, and what happened?
And then I remember he was like, I know your dad. And then I asked you. I was like, he's saying, or I just told you. I was like, he knows you. He's saying he knows you.
That part. And I'm like, what?
And then he's like, I know your dad. He's like, he should know who it is. And then,
but I can't see.
Then you didn't. You were like, give me a name or something.
See anything.
And then he said, it's Keith. And he kept on saying it's Keith.
It's Keith, and I remember vividly that you said that, and I almost crapped my pants, literally.
Yeah, I don't think I understood the magnitude.
Yeah, because we didn't know. You didn't know who Keith was.
Yeah.
So actually, Keith was my friend in high school, in grade school. He was a year below me. I think he transferred in at a young age, but. I mean, we hung out after high school. He would visit me at UMass he was good friends with my friend Rich, and he would visit us there. We would go shooting and hunting and stuff, and a great kid, great guy. And so, the crazy part is, unfortunately, Keith took his own life when he was in his early 20s. And you didn't know that at the time.
Yeah, he didn't, say any... I didn't get any information from him beforehand, and you didn't mention any of it because you didn't really have a reason.
Out of sight, out of mind, and that's unfortunately things that what we do as we live on and move on in our lives, and we try not to forget these people, these souls, but sometimes we do, and so he was out of my mind. I never mentioned him to you.
Yeah, no.
So that's the power of the paranormal and the spiritual. Realm is amazing because never in a million years would I have thought what you would say to me would come from your mouth about Keith. So what did he say then? So then you said that, and I said, oh my God, this is crazy, like what's going on? I remember saying, where are you? right?
Yeah, I think we asked him if he was in hell, or
Yes, we didn't
what
know.
had happened with everything that was going on. And he told us he was not in hell, um, but he was kind of like in this weird middle ground, almost like a purgatory kind of thing, where he couldn't talk to other people, and he
Yeah,
had
that's
been
what he said.
wandering
The
for
Earth.
like what 30 some years, or he
It
kind
was.
of
It
just said
was.
like an
It
estimation
was
with
about
that.
30. Yeah, 30 years at the time.
Yeah,
So,
it's went up. It's
yeah.
gone up from
So
then.
this was in 2018. We're talking to him. So
Yeah.
6 years ago. So then what did we say? So I remember asking you to ask him, like why is he here? Like what's going on? We were like, I was startled and amazed and,
Yeah.
nervous all at once.
Yeah, no. So since like he told us eventually like what happened and everything, then he's like, I'm here because like no one can help me really except for like you guys, because this whole time I've been here like
That's
seeing that you
the,
guys are something else is going on, where I've gone to other people, like other friends of mine, he said. I
David
remember
said, yeah,
him saying that like
yeah.
he visited like family members and friends, but that no one knew he was there.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
or
they
no
couldn't
one
pick
could,
up on his
yeah.
presence.
So then he was like, he saw that we were able to
But
from years.
he even said to you, I've been in your yard for 15 years.
Yeah, which is
So
crazy.
this was before, like we said, our stuff opened up and like really opened up in 16.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
this was, he was in our yard for like 14 years before that, or like
Yeah.
13 years.
Which is
He
crazy.
said, and you could see the tracks. When
Yeah.
you said
It was like the
somebody's
whole
been here, you
ground.
could see he was doing circles here, he was over here. So
Yeah.
it was there for a
But it
long
was
time.
weird because I didn't see it like before
Before
we
you
got
saw him.
introduced to him.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see anything on the ground. It just looked like the ground. But then, like when I did meet him
Or see him
or
like
see
3
him,
times.
yeah, and then I was able to see the footprints. It was like the whole ground was covered
With his prints.
and overlapping.
Yeah. So you
So-
knew there was a pattern.
Yeah,
So, and I remember this part, and again, like I'm filling in the blanks with Paul, what he's saying. He said, I remember he said this, so I'm from Massachusetts and I moved down to Pennsylvania years ago. So all my friends, shout out to everybody in Massachusetts, Ashland, Massachusetts. That's where Keith was from. And he said to you, through you, to you and I, that we need to reach out to his mom and his sister.
yeah,
He's like,
yeah. I remember that.
they need to let me go.
Yeah, like
Is
for
what
closure.
he said, like have closure. They're mourning his loss, his death. And we were like,
we didn't know.
well,
like
we didn't know. And
we
his
wanted
sister
to,
was,
yeah.
I think, 4 years younger than me in high school, Karen. So if anyone knows Karen, I've been trying to reach out, and the mom, I never met his mom, and Karen doesn't know me, probably because she was 4 years younger. She probably, if she saw me, but I remember he said, "Can you tell my mom and my sister to let me go?"
Yeah,
And I was like, "Well, we don't get up there a lot, and
Yeah.
is that okay?" And he said, "Yeah, but if you can." And then, like I said, what about Rich, your good friend Rich? And he's like, "No, he's not open to me at this moment."
yeah,
And so we were like just startled and amazed all in one. And I said, we'll do this. I mean, I was just like, so. And I remember asking you to ask him, so, what are you doing? He's like, I can't talk to any humans, I can't talk to any people. I said, who's with you? And he said, Molly, my dog. So I don't even know if he had a dog named Molly. So
Yeah.
anybody who knew Keith, his last name is Turner, Turner, Keith Turner. So we're dedicating this episode to my friend Keith Turner. But he said that Molly, his dog, was there. Then I said, can you like eat anything or feel anything? He said, I remember through you, he said, I can eat whatever I want and I can feel whatever temperature I want.
Yeah.
But I can't talk to other humans.
Yeah.
So he was wandering, like I said, for almost 30 years. So again, we're going to put the suicide prevention hotline number at the end of this episode also, but because that's it's not a way out. That we don't want anyone to ever do that, obviously.
Yeah.
And seek help if you feel that bad. Go to any emergency room if you feel that down, and they will get, help for you immediately. So please, listen to our warning and guidance. But so then what happened? What else did we talk to
Well,
him
I
about?
remember, like, we asked like, what the whole story of
About
it
the
all.
yard. I remember it's like
About the
we
yard?
said, "Are we safe, Keith?" I remember
Oh, yeah.
asking you that. We're like,
Yeah.
"What?" So what? So we have the soldiers that we talked about in prior episodes, right?
Yeah, and I remember he was like, you guys are, like, super safe. Or he said, like, so safe or something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, this is all new to us.
Yeah,
and
he
he talked
talked
about
how,
our guardian angels.
yeah, how they were, like, massive.
And they have swords and crossbows and then
weapons.
these soldiers that seem to be from the Civil War in our yard that can tell this is what he said to you.
Yeah.
We're just telling our stories here, so it's unbelievable in my eyes, and but because we lived it, we know it's true.
Yeah,
and we know it's real, because never in a million years would I think Keith would be in my yard and telling us information.
Yeah, it was.
And I'm glad to hear that he's okay and that he's at peace, obviously. So first off, I'm grateful and honored, that he found us. And so we asked him, what else did we ask him about?
I'm trying to think of what else. We asked, like, what happened, why he made that decision.
Yeah.
And
well, did he show you like the time frame? Didn't he give you a video in your head?
Yeah, kind of like what was going on. He said it was like a rash decision.
Yeah, because
of a relationship.
Yeah, and I remember that. But we said, did somebody force you, or was somebody attached to you? Was there any negative, influence on you? Obviously. But he said no. He said, I did this. I made a rash decision, like you said.
Yeah.
But I remember, because again, I remember you telling me you actually saw through his eyes, I think, of him at a gas station.
Yeah,
and catching his girlfriend at the time cheating on him.
Yeah.
And I think at the time you knew the boy's name and the girl's name, which is and I knew that story, but again, I was in college and I think he was working. So I didn't know, who he was dating. I mean, we weren't like, we didn't have cell phones back then. Come on, this was the 80s, people. So not like today, you can text everybody. I mean, back then, you're a hauler away from your mom or dad, come home for dinner, and if you can't hear them, then you get in trouble. But now with social media and our phones, it's amazing, right? Technology. But so I remember that. I remember that upset you a lot, and he showed you, up to the point of what he did, to himself, of taking his own life. Right?
Yeah, because I think he even confronted the girl.
I think that was the story that I had heard, again, not telling you.
Yeah.
And that, I guess she was leaving him or cheating, and he just said, if you won't be with me, I'll do something. And she said, I don't care, or whatever, and I don't want no guilt on her or whatever, because, and he would say, not feel guilty. He did this on his own, in his own right. So that we're not here to put any blame on anybody. Which is
just the way
a sad situation that unfortunately happens a lot in our world. But so that being said, we were like, well, when we get up to Massachusetts to visit, we'll try and track down your mom and your sister if we could. But then I didn't know if she got married, what her her married name is, or whatever. Good luck trying to find all that stuff. And the name is fairly common. So so what else did we ask him? We asked him some things like at the bridge. I think we didn't talk about that thing at the bridge yet, did we?
Yeah. There's a part like months back from this point of our story where we had an encounter with a being that was like, we have good stuff, but then there is bad stuff that's a part of this type of activity or whatever. And we asked him about Like, or I think he just told us.
Well, I think we asked, like, what was that thing at the bridge?
Yeah.
So describe what you saw at the bridge, on multiple occasions, mind you.
So I remember seeing this, like, it was like 10 feet tall. Or, like, what I thought was
Like,
10 feet
where
tall.
was it? Under the bridge or in the bridge?
No,
it was standing on the bridge.
It was on the bridge.
Like in the middle, I think you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember it was like, had this weird skeleton looking face. And I know that sounds kind of like corny or whatever, but then like it didn't really have like a bottom half. It was kind of just like this smoky looking cloak type thing, but its arms were like super long. Like I'm talking like 7 feet or something like that.
Yeah,
it's and its fingers were super long also, almost like looking like roots.
Yeah.
Like sticking out and just like going like this. And I remember we had seen it multiple times, and it was there.
Well, I remember sometime we would pull up, and you'd say, "Nope, it's on the bridge. Get out of here," and we would turn away.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Listen to what your guidance was when we went with our
freaky.
friends.
Yeah,
and so, but we did it have eyes? What did it look like?
Well, I remember it had like slots.
Yeah,
but it was just like a skeleton. I could see like bone, like humanoid.
Yeah,
for like the arms and
was
stuff.
Was it like what you think is like the Grim Reaper, or like I don't know, like what is for the viewers to?
Maybe it did have a hood, but the face wasn't. The face was the only part that didn't look human.
Yeah,
human skeleton.
Yeah,
like I don't even know what it would look like.
And it was tall, like 10 feet tall.
Yeah,
it was like under there is what like probably 10 feet,
something like that, or what I thought was 10 feet. As tall as I remember, its like top of its head was like right on
the ceiling,
like there. And I remember it could like stretch its arms
at Gettysburg.
Yeah, its arms were just like
crazy,
spread out across the whole thing. But yeah, no. So we asked him what that was.
Because I think he said, like, I can tell you stuff.
Yeah. I think he did say that. Like, I'm allowed to talk to you guys now. And then we asked about that.
Which, when you think about it, get back to a second. It had been 30 years since he spoke to any human.
True.
How crazy is that?
It's pretty crazy.
You know, that, touches my heart. You know, I mean, it's right? Imagine that, for whatever part of his
or at least hearing back from a human to his question or
punishment for, what he had done, in a rash decision. But, okay, sorry.
No, you're good.
Just because that just...
Stop cutting me off.
That blows me away, just for people to hear that, that he was just wandering.
Yeah. So then we asked about the lurchers. This is a name
he said. He called it that.
That was given to him or given to these creatures by him. I messed that up.
And I remember we asked, was it from the underworld? Like, where is this from? Is this from Satan?
I remember we did ask that, and he said no. It's from like death and despair and carnage and stuff like that. Yep. Conjured up on a battlefield, probably, or in areas where there's like high suicide or something like that. And he said basically these things roam the earth. There's millions of them, he said, and they roam the earth, feeding off of people's like depression and sadness. And I know it sounds scary because it is, but it feeds off of that stuff, and it like roots itself, latches onto you, and that's how it's like getting its energy from you. And it like influences your decision to either like kill yourself, kind of, or to like hurt someone else.
Others, and that's what he
which
said.
Is scary because.
And it was right in the middle of the bridge. You said it was going like this, like letting people walk right into it.
Yeah.
So they couldn't feel it, or maybe they could. I don't know, but
I remember
once we knew
felt
that it was there, we had many interactions with it. Then didn't we?
And it didn't seem like it was particularly interested in us.
Yeah.
But
it knew you were there, though.
It definitely probably knew that something was there.
Yeah.
But then, there was more about the bridge, other stuff, other than that.
Worse than that.
That did know that we were there, and it knew that thing was there as well, the lurcher.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that at another time.
Yeah. We're trying to keep the time frame.
Yeah.
How many minutes you at? Yeah.
Oh, we're good right now. Good.
So... Okay, so the lurchers.
So he told us there were millions of them. He told us like what they were doing. Because I remember we didn't know what it
Yeah,
was. We were like, "What
but
is that?"
you knew like you when we pull up, you could see it.
Yeah, yeah, which was weird. I could feel it. I remember I'd get
Hmm.
like chills like up my spine and then like everywhere. And then we'd get there and I would like see it. And
Hmm.
there was almost like a noise to it, almost kind of like a, I don't know, almost like a vacuum, not like a like
Yeah.
that, but it was almost like just wind
Okay.
moving. And when I say it didn't have a bottom half, it didn't have a bottom
It was just
half.
like blackness
It
or
was just like, yeah,
like
like gray
smoky.
and black smoke kind of,
Is
but
that
not thick,
is
but
that
it
what
was
you
just
think?
okay.
Yeah, there you go.
And we're back. So, getting back to what we were talking about, the camera, I'm pretty sure, cut off. But no, we were talking about Keith giving us the information on the lurchers, and that it like that one thing wasn't like unique in its own sense because there were more than one.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, like
yeah,
you said, there's millions of them around the earth, and
yeah,
but he said he was not influenced by something like that
yeah. No, he said it was just a
with his
rash
own demise.
decision,
Yeah.
and that's what happened.
Okay.
Which was kind of relieving in a way. Still sad that
Yeah.
it resulted in that, but I was happy that it wasn't something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, we had many interactions at the bridge
Mm-hmm.
with different creatures because it is kind of like a popular spot.
Sure it is. Most
Um,
haunted bridge in America.
but
Sachs
then
Bridge.
I think after that, then we didn't talk a whole lot more because then we would talk to him later
Yeah.
again, and then I remember he gave us more information. I think, but
I think one day, remember one day in the house, we were eating,
mhm.
and you saw a hand come down at the bottom of the stairs,
Oh
reach around the
yeah,
wall,
yeah, I saw a
and
sleeve.
we think it was him, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. I kind of felt like that was a gray sleeved arm though,
Yeah, so
for
it
some
might have been a
reason. Yeah,
soldier,
yeah, because I
maybe a
remember seeing
Confederate
that, and then I
soldier.
ran up the stairs and no one was
There was
there,
nothing.
so I was like, wow, that was weird. But yeah, no.
So and we would talk to him, here and there, like. So when we would open the prayer, like Paul said, we didn't know who was going to be there.
Hmm.
It was like night at the museum sometimes. It was just like a lot of different people,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That we haven't even talked about yet.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
definitely. Trying to think.
so, and I remember this though. I showed you a picture
Mhm.
that I had, which when I gone home, I got a book from it was like eighth grade yearbook from, again, Ashland, Massachusetts. Go Clockers. Yeah, that's the mascot. Well, actually, the first electric clock was invented, so it does have some fame.
It's crazy.
Um, so I showed you in the book, and to some of my friends, this is new to them about Keith, but there was a picture of I think it was a track team. I wasn't on the track team,
Oh
but
yeah, I
but
do
he was
remember
in the
this.
picture with like 20 something other people, and I said, "Find Keith." And you just went and you narrowed it down to two right away, and you just went boom, Keith, and you got it right. So
Yeah, I
that's
do
like
remember that.
crazy, right?
That was pretty
That was
crazy.
awesome. So
Yeah,
again, we were like, "What?" It was
yeah,
just it was blown away,
yeah.
and you know, it's so. Then what happened? Let's
Well, so then fast forward about a month, I think,
Yeah,
and
a
some
few weeks.
crazy stuff
Yeah,
happened with you guys when I
yeah.
wasn't home.
So that was so you were at the eighth grade dance, yeah, with your twin sister, and we were actually my older girls who were their teenagers and my wife. We were watching a movie, The Book Thief, a good movie, but it has a dark part of the movie where um, they attack a Jewish baker. I think the Nazis do, and we had in our foyer we had a fake Christmas tree, but then we had a battery operated train that went underneath the tree. And all of a sudden, when the dark time came in the movie, the train turned on by itself, and we were all startled because it was right in the other room. my wife ran over there and turned it off. And you have to slide a switch and press a button to turn it on.
Yeah.
And we were like freaked out about it.
Yeah.
Again, we didn't feel anything or see anything at that moment. But the train turned on. It was going woo woo woo. It was going around, and we're like, "What?" Turned it off. When you came home, we asked you, "Did you feel anything?" And I think you said no.
Yeah.
So the next day, my wife is investigating that area, and it's the bottom of our stairs, and there's an outlet on that side and on the other side of the stairs, and she said, she's like, "Paul, there's heat coming out of the outlet. You could blow, like a blow dryer was blowing heat out of the outlet." She's like, "Run downstairs, turn off the breaker." So I did that, and I undid the faceplate, and the wires were all melted at the outlet on that side and the other side of the steps. So again, crazy. The house could have burned to the ground. We changed out the outlets. We were startled because we had the house built, and the house was about 15 years old at the time. And we showed you that I still have the outlets I should try to find them. We'll put them on here to show that the wires were all melted.
Put a picture of those up.
Yep. And so we're like, what?
That was crazy.
It was crazy. We didn't know anything except that wires were melted. So we changed it out. I think that Sunday, actually my wife changed them out because she knows how to do all that stuff. She's great with that. And then it was that week. We worked and you were in school or whatever. And then I remember we went out and we did the prayer. Yeah. And I said to you, "Who did the train trick?"
Yeah.
And then what happened?
I remember, what is it? Keith came up.
Keith
and he's
walked
like,
up to
"I
you.
did it."
He turned it
I remember
on.
you thought it could have been someone else
Yeah.
at first.
Yeah.
But then he came up and he was like, "I turned the train on and everything."
He said to alert you guys that your house was in danger. So amazing. So again, a call from a friend, a saving call from a friend, saved our lives. Truly, our house could have burned to the ground, and we know electrical fires are can be deadly,
dangerous.
So that's what he said he did, saving our lives, which is a beautiful thing. So as he's working his way to heaven, this is how it is. We're just telling our stories. You can believe or not believe, but it is truly amazing, and it again has affected us because this was something we could have perished too.
Yeah, it was definitely a crazy thing.
So did we ever find his mom or sister? No, we haven't been able to get there yet. But months later in the yard, what did they tell us? So this is the soldiers in the yard. Then you might not remember this, but they said, "You don't need to tell his mom or his sister anymore.
Because we haven't seen him for some time."
They said he did a good thing, getting his way towards the ultimate of getting to heaven. So again, I wish I could get up there, and I'm going to be going up in July, and maybe through people watching and friends of ours that know their family, I would love to go and tell them, because I'm sure they would love to hear the stories about their son and brother, which changed our lives for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
definitely.
What do you think? What else?
I just think the whole story had so much gravity to it, and it was just like, for me, I know I was kind of just like, oh, like I was just kind of whatever, not numb to it, but I was just like, this is another, like, for me, it was just like talking to someone and just hearing their story, because I never knew him. I didn't know about him. Like, I
didn't mention him.
He was just a stranger to me, even though he knew us. So, that was pretty crazy. And then just seeing you react to what I was saying.
It was truth.
I was just like,
yeah, well, it was truth. And so hopefully we can, reach out to the family at some point and
definitely
go visit him at the cemetery too.
Mm-hmm.
When we get back up there.